All right, Keem, I know that you've been playing, and I think you're the only one among us that has played a lot of Elden Ring. And you do tend to like you do tend to like more difficult games. You like the challenge. So, like, what do
Absolutely.
you think? Like, what do you think about the wave of difficult games? And do you think that that's like how things should like? Do you think that it's necessarily unwelcoming, or is it like just something that you have to just learn how to deal with as a new gamer and just kind of find what your place is?
I think what this wave of difficulty in gaming really is presenting is like it's not about necessarily the difficulty, it's about the mindset towards difficulty has to change. Because like how Souls games approaches things isn't necessarily just because of being mind-numbingly hard, it's building systems and teaching you systems upon systems gradually over the course of the game. And what it's doing is it's actually respecting your intelligence to actually get those systems and not assuming you're too dumb to understand them. But at the same time, I also understand that like you said, new incoming gamers aren't going to get that out the gate. It's the reason fighting games have a really hard time getting a broader audience because at a certain point when you play fighting games, there is a difficulty curve to the controls, to the competitive scene, to understanding mechanics. I'll be honest with you guys, very honest with you guys. I just bought KOF 15. I haven't played King of Fighters consistently since I barely played when I was a kid when I played in the arcades. It was harder for me to get into King of Fighters right now than it was Elden Ring. Because when people think about Elden Ring, they talk about the difficulty. What they're not talking about is they have done an amazing job of making exploration really, 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 really good. To the point where you got a boss fight that's kicking your butt, you can go all the way halfway across the map and do something completely different and come back later. You can go to a whole nother area. I found out today when I was going through the main first castle, Stormvale Castle, which is the first major dungeon in the game. You can skip the whole castle. I found a path on the side. You just walk around it. You can skip the whole area if you want to. Little things like that. Little things like that, like the summon system they added in. They added in stealth mechanics. They added in jumping. So the mindset towards a game being difficult to me is more about the system. So how are they teaching you to adjust to the difficulty? Is the game unfair in difficulty? Like for instance, when I played Trails of Cold Steel 1 about a year and a half ago, the final boss or next to the final boss was so freaking difficult. I put the game down for 6 months. I was so frustrated.
God dang, what was that boss doing to you, man?
I was so frustrated with that boss. It just felt like it was a wall. And ironically, once I came back to the game, I beat it the same day in one city. Okay. But it felt like that was a wall when I came to that boss. Like, well, I can't do anything else. This is the final boss. I can't beat him. Well, I guess this is it. Elden Ring, I've died 30 times to one boss. And I was like, I'll go do something else. Then I go do something else. I go find this new weapon. I go find a new skill. I go get new equipment. I go down this road. I go into this cave. Just this morning alone, I was just BSing. I found like 4 dungeons, a secret boss fight, 2-3 side quests for no reason. Like that's another thing about design. Like it doesn't have quest markers. No quest markers in Elden Ring. You just have to meet the NPCs and like just put 2 and 2 together. Say, hey man, I'm looking for this particular item. You find a particular item. You bring it back to them. Hey man, I'm associated with this NPC. You go talk to the NPC. Little stuff like that. But like the way they do it, how they incentivize exploration in this game. How when you go one way, there's always something to find. There's always something interesting going on that makes you want to explore. That's way more important than difficulty.